we recording? Arr. So last night, after watching Star Wars The Force Awakens, I went on Netflix, and I finally Netflixed a movie from last year called The Interview. That was that controversial movie that came out from Sony Pictures last year, in which there allegedly was a hacking of Sony about all their movies and people that got out. Apparently, allegedly, as a result of the North Koreans getting mad about this movie and somehow hacking them, to which then China turned off North Korea's internet for 2 days. And then they tried to do it again. As it turned out, 6 months or so later, North Korea said they did it, but they didn't do it. Apparently, the major hacking job that released all of the Sony records and records of actors and people that somebody didn't like was an inside job. Some ex-employee at Sony knew some hackers, maybe North Korean ones. It's possible there's a connection, and wanted to sabotage this movie as it was coming out because he got fired and got mad. So that's what happened over there at Sony. So this movie created controversy because they claimed that the North Korean Kim Jong-un, their dictator, got mad and threatened to destroy the movie and kill everyone at the movie. And, that freaked everyone out because there had been incidents. There had been an incident during a Batman movie like that and another incident in the theater. So they said, okay, we're going to pull the movie and only release it on video. This was Sony's cagey way of saying, well, you see, the controversy is what made this movie not come out. After seeing this movie, I can probably safely say it wasn't really all of that business that did it. It's that the movie isn't very good. It sucks. Okay, this is not the worst movie I've ever seen, but it's up there with some of the turkeys. I think Mystery Science Theater 3000 should do a spoof on it. But yeah, it was painfully bad. And Seth Rogen has a tendency in his movies to, if he's given the main character role, he tends to overact the crap out of the movie, and it makes it bad. It's like, in Superbad, he was okay because they reined him in and they said, okay, you're not the star, this other guy is the star. You just have sort of a long cameo, and you're sort of a supporting actor in this. Don't give him a main character part. He just, Seth Rogen's kind of like Tim Allen or some of those other ones. Well, Tim Allen's, I guess, a little better. But he's kind of like Will Ferrell. Will Ferrell should not have his own movie either. Will Ferrell should have cameos, because when he's in his own movie, you end up with stuff like Land of the Lost. No. Or Semi-Pro or something. No, don't give Will Ferrell his own movie. And to an extent, don't give Adam Sandler his own movie. And now on to The Interview. This movie was painfully odd, strange. They were trying to spoof, Kim Jong-un to a degree. They were trying to spoof the social media aspect. Actually, they were kind of spoofing Donald Trump. This media guy is a hot-headed media mogul dude. Yeah. I think what also they were trying to do with that one, they were spoofing Donald Trump. They were spoofing Bill O'Reilly in Comedy Central as well. So you had a sort of Jon Stewart-esque sort of philanthropist, guy that's popular with everybody, and he gets to do the interview in Korea. But of course, the FBI decides, the CIA, somehow they mixed them up. The FBI would be the CIA. Anyway, but they decide to get rid of Kim Jong-un. So they decide to give this mogul guy and the guy that does the hosting for the show the means to go and assassinate the Korean dictator, which is ludicrous and stupid. And it's like, no secret agency is going to do that. So if the Koreans were worried about this movie, they shouldn't be. It's a really lame idea. Not so because it wouldn't work or anything, but it would fail utterly. Not sticking up for North Korea or anything, but it's like it wouldn't work. These two guys are bungling idiots, and they spend the whole movie being bungling idiots. And it's like, okay, yeah, there were like one or two funny jokes about this guy being deified so much that he doesn't ever poop and pee, and there was a joke that he doesn't have a butthole. It's just the way they said it. And there was the butthole joke at the end, you know. But if all you got is two butt jokes that are funny, and there was like a brief other scene with these hot chicks that show up and they're doing this other thing, and that was kind of funny, sexist, but kind of funny. So yeah, it was and it was also similar to that South Park movie Team America. That's probably what the director thought when he probably watched that, and he was like, oh yeah, we just make Team America but more edgy, and not political, just like messed up. Yeah, but that was Kim Jong-il, that was the previous guy. So that was his dad. Yeah, and it's like this movie was just dreadful. I really don't say much about it. The typical of a Seth Rogen movie, you tend to have like the first 2/3 of the movie kind of doing the right pacing, the right jokes, and sort of going there, and you know it's going to be a comedy, and you know they're bungling and stuff, and then the third act it always flies off the rails, just like in Pineapple Express when it flew off the rails and became an action comedy. This one also became an action dramedy. And at the end, somebody gets their fingers bitten off, and horrible things happen, and then people explode and die and stuff. And it's like, and of course the heroes get away with it. But it's like, yeah, he's not going to spoil it. It's a terrible movie. You can go Netflix it, and you'll find out how bad it was. And it's not bad because it's a movie about making fun of North Korea. It's a bad movie because it's a bad movie. So all that controversy is like, well, this movie sucks even if it was about somebody else. It still sucks because it's just bad in every way. So yeah, there's your. There was literally nothing remitting about it. I mean, they were trying to be like Comedy Central and trying to be like Jon Stewart, but they failed utterly and completely. It was amazing how much they failed. Yes. So they failed. I don't even know why Netflix lists this at like 2 stars. It's not that high up. It really isn't. It's maybe a half a star because there's like one good joke in it or 2. That's it. But yeah, the interview was, I don't know what the hype was about because this movie sucked and sucked all the way through and sucked hardest at the end. Like, why did they have to have a guy attacking Seth Rogen and biting his fingers? Because it would be edgy. Why did the bad guy, like, he shits himself, I guess? That's the punchline. Really, the punchline nowadays in comedy is you have to have a shitting scene, or implied, at least. Like, that's not funny, that's just gross. It was funny in A Million Ways to Die in the West because he does it into his hat. But in this one, it's just like, oh, did you shirt? It's like, that's not funny. No, what would have been funny is if Kim Jong-un had bent over and you know, skyrocketed into the air on his own spume because he'd been holding it in all this time because he claims he doesn't poop. Right? So if he held it in and then they like put him on a wire and had him like rocket past the screen, like, at least that would have been funny. It would have been like, okay, it launched him into orbit. And that's how he dies. That's how they should have killed him. Like, he pooped so hard it killed him. And then they're like, oh, see, haha, the bad guys. They just shouldn't have made it an actual person is the thing. They should have just been all like, oh, yeah, this movie is a bad guy. And just made him up. I don't know why they didn't. It would have been just fine, but it still would have been bad. But it's like, why are we like indirectly paying homage to that guy? What was Sony thinking? Yeah, it's awful. And the hacker was actually a Sony guy. So that's my review.